The 829th edition of the MMA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Edge Boost, the bank account built for bettors. Sign up today at edgeboost.bet with promo code SGPN and get a $25 deposit bonus.
Heidi ho, Degenerinos. Welcome to episode 829. 829. A little voice tells me of the MMA Gambling Podcast and the Sports Gambling Podcast Network, dedicated to Rufus Jackson, our friend on YouTube, who LOL'd at one of my jokes and says he loves us. We love you too, Rufus. We love all of you that are tuning in for this here episode. It's another Road to UFC episode. We've done half of the Road to UFC Shanghai. We got 2 more episodes today and tomorrow. Then we're going to finish off the week with some LFA, and then we'll be back on our UFC grind next week. So today is the first day that we're going to cover the 155 and 135 parts of the tournament. We have already covered featherweight and flyweight. If you haven't checked those episodes out, they're the last 2 episodes. Make sure you check them out, especially the last one. Gummy seemed to be quite interested in quite a few of the prospects on the second episode of the Road to UFC. Did I tell you who I am? I am Supremo Simplicio, Jeff Fox. Then Gumby Vreeland is the man who makes the picks. Thoughts on this here card we're covering today, Gumby?
Maybe not as good as the one before. I do like that they are mixing up Australia into the mix here on Road to the UFC. Like it seemed like before it was just like China, Korea, Japan, some Singapore, Thailand once in a while. But like now, the first 2 fights we're going to break down today both have Australian guys in there, or it's one from New Zealand. Now I'm going to feel like a dick.
I think they're both Australian. I think you're
okay. Great. Great. I'm happy about that. But yeah, like we're getting some folks from down under. We had Aaron Tao on the last one. So like it's been a nice welcomed addition to that side of the world. So I'm excited for this one, somewhat for that reason, but also we got some good prospects on this one too, and some fights I think are at least just like really well matched.
And it makes sense. As I've said in other episodes, they are making a push into Australia, or they're getting paid to host a bunch of events in Australia. So
now they got an Australian champ,
yeah. Oh, that's right. That too.
It doesn't hurt.
Yep. And now they, it makes sense too, especially if they're going to host something that side of the world anyhow. It would make sense to load up your event with Australians and or New Zealanders to, get some more of them into the UFC. So it all makes perfect sense. Sometimes the UFC does things that make sense. All right, without any more haste, let's get you some picks. Actually, I guess there's going to be a bit more haste. So, or without any haste? No, we want to do it with haste. Anyhow, we have a sale in our merch store, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/store. I know that much. 20% off if you type in the promo code DEGENS, DEGENS. That's because we have a new line called the Degens line. Check out all the cool Degens merch there. And of course, the MMA Gambling Podcast, we have our own little section of the store. You check out all our show related stuff there. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/store. All right, Road to UFC Shanghai, episode 3. Take place Friday, 7 a.m. Eastern start time. Another Degen special for us. As per usual, we have a feature fight kicking things off, and then we'll get into the tournament fights. This feature fight is at 170. So welterweight bout, Shogo Sato from Japan, Kitt Campbell from Australia. Let's break her down by telling you about Campbell first. The killer, Kitt the Killer Campbell. Fantastic. 14-7, 8 knockouts, 2 submissions. He's been knocked out twice, submitted once. This is his debut. He's won 2 straight in 4-5. TKO win in his last bout. He's not lost since May of 2023. He's got multiple championships on his
mantle.
Correct. Get our merch, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/store. Degens is your code. He's fought at 155 and 185. 2013 Pro MMA debut. A year younger than Sato, 7 inches taller. 7 inches taller, Gumby. It's true. I think he's like 6'2" or something ridiculous like that.
What did you say his record was again, too? It's like he's got a pretty long
14-7.
Yeah.
He's fought a lot. 14-7, yeah. Sato, 5-0 with 1 no contest, 4 knockouts. This is his debut. He owes his rounds. TKO win in his last bout, a regional champion. I think he's really short for a welterweight, is he not? Is he like 5'7"? Yikes.
Yeah. It's interesting to me. Like I went into this fight being like, for many of the reasons that you mentioned when I started breaking it down, I was like, Kitt Campbell will be a big favorite, right? Tons of experience. He's fought 1 billion times. He's way bigger than Sato. And I was like, why wouldn't he be a giant favorite going into this fight? But I'm hearing that like some of the people who I talk to in terms of laying odds is like they think his record actually makes him kind of look like a journeyman. Which like
it's true.
yeah, I mean,
I
like
get it.
I mean, I could see that from like a casual standpoint, right? Is that he kind of looks like a journeyman. So like they said they thought he'd be a dog. I think he's going to be a favorite. This is one of the ones where we'll just have to call it a pick 'em, and I'll break it down from there. Obviously, I like Kitt Campbell. Then I like him. You know, I would probably be in on the Kitt Campbell side up until -180, -185. I'd be in on like straight money line looks at him. The thing I really like about Kitt Campbell is he wants to move forward and throw. You know, he does, and he's really good when he moves forward. Less so when he doesn't, but he's really good when he moves forward. He like dissects his opponents. He's got elbows. He works the body. You know, he's just kind of like vicious moving forward. And then the other really beautiful thing about his style is what happens to guys who move forward sort of like unabashedly all the time, right? They wind up in the clinch. They wind up in the clinch far more often than maybe they need to. And while for some people that's bad, maybe the best part of Kitt Campbell's game, despite the fact I just said all those really nice things about him moving forward, maybe the best part of his game is the way he shoots takedowns, because most of them are clinch body locks. And so like he's got this really great aspect of his game, which has a fundamental flaw, but that fundamental flaw moves to the next best part of his game. And that's really awesome to me. And then I kind of think the way Sato fights kind of plays right into it. I would say Sato is probably more of just like a pure brawler. He's just going to throw haymakers all the time. And like, what's tough for a guy who just throws haymakers all the time? A guy who wants to get in his face and like, you know, force him to move backwards. And if he won't move backwards, right, he's going to wind up in that clinch. He's going to wind up in the clinch. I just told you there's a worst idea for him. I've never really seen Sato's takedown defense. Like he hasn't had to use it all that much. You know, there's lots of film on Campbell for obvious reasons, right? He's fought a billion times, but like I haven't really seen all that much on Sato. So like I don't know that he'll be able to defend it. But even if he's not, like I think he's going to be like on his heels for a lot of this fight. So I'm going to take Kitt Campbell. You know, if I can get him at dog price, even better. But like I said, I'd play him in the early to late ones anyway.
Sato's taking this on short notice, I think, too. He is at least he's a replacement.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yep.
And so it also maybe makes sense that the UFC would like to see Kitt Campbell in there. Because like, you know, like I said, he's already got a record. So he's already kind of like a known commodity. I want to say is he Eternal champion?
I think he fought. Yeah, I think you're right.
And so like, you know, he's fought for their best promotion. There's reason to like Kitt Campbell.
Sato is 64%. People like him on top.
Yeah, what the hell is that then?
Yep, surprising. So hopefully you get a good line on him. That's good. Yeah. That is good. All right, let's get you one more play before I tell you about some of our sponsors now, shall we? Okay, we'll go to our first lightweight tournament bout that we're going to break down. Hyun Park from South Korea, so you know Gumby's going to pick him. Jack Becker from Australia, 3 5-minute rounds. Break it down. Tell you about Becker, 13-5, 4 knockouts, 5 submissions. He's been knocked out twice. This is his debut. He's won 2 straight and 3 of 4. TKO win in his last bout. He's a regional champ. He's been fighting pro since 2011 in MMA. 2 inches height over Park. Park is 7-3, 3 knockouts, 2 submissions. He's been knocked out twice. 0-1 on the road to UFC. He's won 1 of 3 and 7 of 9. Submission win in his last bout. He is a regional champ. He's 9 years younger than Becker.
Yeah, you joke, but I'm going to take him.
There you go.
I'm going to take, you know, and I'll tell you, I did waver on this one a little bit because look, Jack Becker, I like his wrestling game. I'll just be frank. You know, it's a little muscly, you know, like just a little bit of, you know, he tries to get something that maybe he doesn't have, but it's at least relentless. And I don't know enough about Park's takedown defense. You know, I've seen it work, but I haven't seen it work against somebody like Jack Becker. So there's just a piece of me that's like, be careful on Jae-Hyung Park. But I think he's 100% the better striker. You know, I think the way, you know, he actually works really well in the clinch. You know, I saw somebody try to get in on a takedown. He flipped the position really easily. He's a good combination puncher. You know, he throws good hooks, you know, works all different levels. He works legs, you know, working the liver, you know, shooting the body, all that kind of stuff. He hits all the different levels. And whereas like, you know, Jack Becker is just kind of like, he's kind of hittable. He's right there to be hit because we know what he's looking for. He's looking for the takedown. And personally, in some of Jack Becker's fights, while, like I said, I like his wrestling, he just doesn't do enough damage on the ground sometimes. Like he gets him there, and I think he's so worried about being in the next position, being in side control, being in mount, being, just moving to the next place, that I think he forgets that, like, hey, maybe land something from here in case I don't get to the next one. Which might be a problem with Park, because again, I think Park has a chance of possibly just stuffing all these takedowns anyway. But even if he doesn't stuff all these takedowns anyway, that could mean that he doesn't take enough damage, that all of the goodwill he built up on the feet might just be too much for Becker. So, I'm going to go Jae-Hyung Park for we're in our third episode. I still haven't picked against the South Korean. So, give me yet another South Korean.
All right. What number did you say you hope to get him at?
I don't know if I said, what did I write down? I wrote plus 155, plus 160.
Okay.
That'd be nice.
36% on him. So you're probably right.
Yeah, that would be nice.
All right. Park locked in. All right. Before we move on, let me tell you about our good friends at Edge Boost. Edge Boost is the first ever bank account built for bettors, ensuring all gambling transactions are approved. No usage fees, no minimums. Earn cashback rewards and 100% approval for all betting deposits. So sign up today at edgeboost.bet with the promo code SGPN. Deposit $25 and Edge Boost will match the deposit. That's edgeboost.bet, promo code SGPN. And it's time for Gumby's bonus underdog pick 'em play. Underdog is going long for the NBA playoffs with their extender bonus. Hop in game one, and the longer the series goes, the bigger the bonus gets. What do you got for us today, Gumby?
So the NBA's conference finals tips off today. It's Tuesday. We're going to talk about the Minnesota Timberwolves because Jeff here still doesn't know who they're playing yet at the time of recording. So I'm going to take the higher than on Julius Randle's points. He had 24, 24, 29, and 31 to close out the series with the Warriors. So he's gaining momentum. He's taken over in games that are important. And obviously, game one against blank is going to be really important. So give me the higher than on Julius Randle.
All right. Take that play and take our code MMASGPN to claim your special pick and first time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus credits. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code MMASGPN. All right, let's go to, I think we're going to 135 now, right? Because we haven't done 135s yet. 135, Kai Xiong. He is from Singapore. Kuya Ito from Japan. Let's tell you all about these guys. Ito is 17-8-1, 4 knockouts. He's been knocked out 4 times, submitted twice. This is his debut. He's won 7 straight. TKO win in his last bout. He's not lost since December 2021. He's got multi-region championships on his
mantle.
Correct. Get our gear, get our merch, get the Degen stuff. sportsgamblingpockets.com/store gets to keep with it. He's fed at 145 and 155. 2015 Pro MMA debut. 0-1 in shoot boxing. Xiong. Cobra with a K. 6-1, 2 knockouts, 3 submissions. He's been knocked out once. He owes his rounds. 0-1 on the road to UFC. TKO win in his last bout. That was back in April of 2024. He's not lost since May 2023. He's fed at 125 and 150.
Yeah, so I think Xiong should be a big favorite here. My guess is like maybe not all the way to 200, but like maybe negative 185. That loss on road to the UFC, if I'm not mistaken, is the loss to Peter Danesoe, where he just kind of got clipped by a flying knee and like knocked out. And give Danesoe credit for hitting that flying knee, but at the same time, like, you really gonna fault the guy for getting hit by something that he almost never sees. But I think he's just way better of a fighter here in a lot of different ways. On one hand, like, people might sort of bet the line down on Ito by being like, well, he's a really good wrestler. But like, if you watch most of his takedowns and like, he is smothering when he's on top. I'm going to give him that. But like, if you watch most of his takedowns, it's like heavily reliant on trips, like body lock control and trips. And there's not a whole lot of nuance to it either. He's got like you up against the cage and he starts lacing your leg and you're like, that doesn't look particularly good, but like, he's relentless with it and he gets some maybe lesser competition with it. And whereas Xiong, like, I mean, this guy's wrestling defense is held up in some big moments. Like, we just watched Chang Ho Lee look really good in the UFC, right? He beat Cortavius Romeus and looked really good in the grappling in that fight. And, Cortavius Romeus was supposed to be a good grappler. Xiong beat Chang Ho Lee. He went in there, he stuffed all the takedowns, forced him to box with him, beat him up on the feet. And the best part about his boxing game is that it's like it's aggressive, but also like it draws out the counter. So it's like heavy feint. And then he pulls and throws a straight left. And that straight left is like, man, it is right on the money every time, it seems like. So like when you're watching him, I like know what he's gonna do already, and like the fighter he's fighting like can't seem to stop getting hit with it anyway. And like that, I mean, I think that just shows how like technically proficient he is. So between the takedown defense that we saw hold up, that made him, not lose to a fighter who's in the UFC right now and probably a lot better than Ito. I've seen that takedown defense hold up. I think he stays on the feet here, and I think he's way better than Ito on the feet. So give me Xiong.
All right, Xiong is the pick. Let's go to the second to last bout. You may call it the co-main event. It is Yawei Ren from China versus Deni Daffa from Indonesia. 3 5-minute rounds, 155. Daffa is destroyer. Deni Daffa, 6-1, three knockouts, 3 submissions, and he's been submitted once. So that means he owes his rounds. This is his debut. He has won 2 straight. He's not lost since February 2023. He's got 4 inches of height over Yawei, 7 years younger. Yawei is 8-3, 6 knockouts, 1 submission. He's been submitted once. He owes his rounds too. This is his debut. He's won 4 straight and 6 of 7. He last lost April 2023. He went 1-1 as a pro kickboxer. This
is one of the most frustrating fights on the card. And I'm not going to say that for a betting perspective. I'm going to take Yawei Ren. My guess is -140. Not from that perspective, but because of just how frustrating Yawei Ren is to watch fight. I'm going to pick him to win. And the reason I'm picking him to win is because I think he will get hit on the feet enough that he will remember that maybe he should be wrestling. Because on the feet, he's like really easily tagged. But like for some reason, I think he thinks that's the best part of his game. Like I think for some reason, he thinks he's this like phenomenal striker. And I've watched one of his fights and I'm like, man, this guy's bad on the feet, right? And then he just keeps getting pop. Finally, one hurts him enough, and he like panic wrestles, and then he looks great panic wrestling. Like he's stunned and still wrestling, and it's working, which just shows that like he could be doing this anyway when he didn't have to panic. Like it doesn't have to be a panic wrestle; it can just be a wrestle, Ren. And like I wish he would go to it more often. But the thing is with Daffa is that like, even if Daffa is going to have to put him out with a single shot. It needs to be a one touch. He's unconscious, or else if he doesn't do that, Daffa's takedown defense is not good enough to survive the panic wrestling of Ren. Either that or he's got to like pitter patter him enough that he never feels panicked. Maybe that's the play. Maybe just don't throw a punch hard enough to remind Ren that he's good at wrestling. And like, so whatever the play is there, like, Ren is really frustrating to watch, but I do think that Daffa is bad enough on the takedown defense. And the other thing too is like he's risky on the feet. He throws big, and he's even like risky in like grappling exchanges. He tries to make like big movements and take over positions that he's not in good position to take over. So like I think that Daffa should make enough mistakes that allow Ren to find where he's good and actually fight where he's good. And if he does that, he should cruise. So give me Yawei Ren here. I think he handles Daffa.
All right. Yawei Ren is the pick, as is Rhythm. Rhythm is your home for AI-backed picks and props. Dominate the NBA playoffs, PGA, MLB, and just launched the WNBA. Rhythm knows you love it. That's why they include a 7-day free trial. Check out the Dante DiVincenzo lines there, and Rhythm has some amazing deals going on as well. 25% off monthly subscription with promo code SGPN25, and a 50% off a annual subscription with promo code SGPN50. That's RITHMM. Promo code SGPN25 or SGPN50. Get your 7-day free trial today at sportsgamblingpockets.com/rhythm, RITHMM. And Circa's Ultimate Fantasy Football giveaway is on as we speak. Circa Resort and Casino in Las Vegas is giving away the ultimate fantasy football experience for a 12-person league to draft in Vegas and be treated like VIPs for their stay. The winner will receive a 2-night stay at Circa Resort and Casino for their entire 12-person league. That includes the 6 Double King rooms. They can hold their draft at a cabana at Stadium Swim with a $5,000 food and beverage credit. Limo transportation to and from the airport. A welcome party at Legacy Club for the league. Reservation at the world's largest sportsbook with $500 beverage credit for the league. A 2-hour open bar package for the league at Overhang Bar. The contest is on now until June the 30th, and you enter by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/circa. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/CIRCA. And we're brought to you by MyBookie.ag. MyBookie is your place to bet in every sport, including the NBA playoffs. For the true degens, the MyBookie money bag. Check that out. MyBookie accepts customers from a ton of locations, easy deposit, and lightning fast payouts using crypto. They got lines they'll have lines for Road to UFC. They have Dante DiVincenzo lines there as well. And when you do head to mybookie.ag, use our promo code MMA SGPN for 100% deposit match up to $1,000. So terms and conditions apply. That's at mybookie.ag, promo code MMA SGPN. All right, to our main event, a man that's already been spoken of is in it. Sulangrangbo, all one word, from China. Peter Danesoe, he's the guy we have mentioned already. He is from Thailand. They are fighting at 135. And let's break it down. Danesoe is the Asian Viking, 8-3, 5 knockouts, 3 submissions. He's been submitted twice. He owes his rounds. He's 1-1 in the road to UFC. He's won 2 straight and 8 of 9. He's not lost since August 2023. He went 1-2 in one championship, the biggest promotion in the history of the world. Used to fight at 125 and 145. Sulangrangbo is 8-3 with 5 knockouts, 1 submission. He's been knocked out once. This is his debut. He's won 7 straight, 2 straight via TKO. He's not lost since February 2023. He used to fight at 125. He's 6 years younger than Danesoe.
So I'm gonna air some beef here with Road to the UFC for the first time, because I've said very nice things about their matchmaking up until this point. And maybe this is a Peter Danesoe choice, but this is wildly confusing to me. He fought twice in showcase fights for Road to the UFC. Like, he's fought twice in Road to the UFC, as you mentioned. He's 1-1. But he's never been in a tournament before. Both of those showcase fights were at flyweight. We're doing a flyweight tournament right now, and inexplicably, he is in the bantamweight tournament. I just am really bummed out by that. And he fought good fighters, too. There's a reason they're bringing him back. He fought Sim Kai Xiong, who we just talked about a second ago, who I'm high on personally. And he fought Naramjigol Tumendembro, who's in the UFC now, right? Like, they signed Tumendembro off of that win. So, like, Danesoe has gotten multiple flyweight showcase flyweight showcase fights, and then they stuck him in the bantamweight tournament. And maybe it's his choice, but it's such a weird move to me. But with all that being said, with all my my chippiness being said here, I'm gonna take him in this fight. What did I write down? I said -170 on him against Sulangrangbo. In basically, the interesting thing is I think this is a striking fight. Like, I don't think either of these guys want to go to the feet. The biggest thing that plays up for me in terms of Danesoe is I just think his speed is too much. I saw some Sulangrangbo is maybe one of the hardest guys on all of this to find footage on. Is he a happy elephant?
I think he did fight in Happy Elephant.
Yeah,
Someone I broke down was Happy Elephant.
There were like 3 or 4 Happy Elephant guys in there, by the way. I know you loved your Happy Elephant.
Yeah, no, actually, he wasn't Happy Elephant. No, I think it was one of the female fighters that might have fought in Happy Elephant.
Oh,
we talked about a couple days ago.
Shogun Peng fought for him.
Yes,
her fight with Miki Motono was in Happy Elephant, but there were other Happy Elephants too.
This guy's more WLF.
Oh, okay. And I know we got your other favorite one in there. One Pride
Championship MMA.
Championship MMA, Fight Night, Champions League,
Bellator.
UFC, Bellator, PFL. That's SEO, search engine optimization.
Yeah, exactly.
Right,
that's exactly spamming right there.
Sorry, we got way off track there. Sulangrangbo, he was hard to find some footage on, but what I saw, like, a lot of jumping in knee strikes, like, likes throwing that oblique kick. Likes trying to keep range, all that kind of stuff. But, like, I don't know that he's going to pick apart Danesoe, who I think is so much faster. So, like, if you're going to do that from range, like, that's great. But what if that guy closes the range on you? Because then, like, it looks like he has less tricks when he's in range, when he's in boxing range. And, like, Danesoe continues to be sharp there. Danesoe can be very plotting early in the fights, like, as he starts to figure you out. So, like, if you're watching this fight and I somehow convinced you that Danesoe was the side you should be on, like, don't panic if he doesn't look good in the first 3 minutes. He does plod forward as he's figuring things out, but then he'll start to open up and be much faster, and, like, control the range against a guy who, like, I think needs lots of range to work in Sulangrangbo. So, I'm going to go with Danesoe. Again, I think high 100s, maybe mid to high 100s in that range. And just look for his speed to carry the day.
All right. He's got Danesoe. He's got Yawei. He has got Xiong. He has got Park. He has got Campbell. Who's your favorite here?
I think Xiong. So here's the fun thing. I think Xiong's going to fight Peter Danesoe in the semifinals,
Yep.
obviously, in a rematch. And I think Xiong's going to win. He got flying knee knocked out the first time they did it in a showcase fight, but I think he was the better fighter. And I want to say I was on the Xiong side too. I don't want to, that's a long time ago to remember my picks exactly, but I'm excited to see him get that back if so. So I like Xiong. I'll also say just like, I love that they're giving Kitt Campbell a chance. Like, you got to love, I think you said he's been a pro for 9 years. When you've seen a guy be a pro for as long as he has and have big fights and just kind of kick around the regional scene with like basically all the people in the regional scene saying, this guy's one of the best guys we have in this country. And then like never get a chance to prove it on a larger scale, like kind of sucks for him. So I love his story more than anything. And I'd really like to see, him get a chance here. So I like Kitt Campbell. I like Kai Xiong.
12 years for him, 2013.
12
so
years.
Even longer.
Jeez.
Yeah.
That's so long to be fighting at the regional scene.
It sure is. All right. We are all set. You're all set. 3/4 of the way through Road to UFC. Tomorrow we shall complete it. And then the next day, which would be Thursday, we shall do LFA. In the meantime, we'll be hanging out on the Discord, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord. We'll be on YouTube at MMA Gambling Podcast. We will be on Twitter at SGPN MMA, at Gumby Vreeland, at Jeff Fox Writer, at Jeff Fox Writer on Instagram. I'll be on my Substack, moneymma.substack.com. Gumby, check out his other podcast, Top Turtle MMA. Our home base is sportsgamblingpodcast.com. The store, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/store. Remember the code DEGENS, 20% off. And then sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon to get some bonus content. And finally, when you sign up for Underdog Fantasy and or mybookie.ag, make sure you use our code MMASGPN. That way you get some freebies. We get some freebies. Everyone's happy. We'll be back tomorrow, as I said, to complete Road to UFC. We'll be the Canadian Viking Jeff Fox, destroyer of Vreeland. We'll talk to you then.